everyone, my name is Ksenia and today my guest here is finally Ninja Mack!
Hey! Want to make a bet?
I feel like in modern wrestling it's very much on the edge because people are still arguing the realm of believability and the characters. So the question is, how literal is Ninja and how ninja are you? What percentage of you is Ninja and what makes you Ninja?
Pro wrestling, there's a lot of gimmicks to each wrestler.
Absolutely.
But market-wise, you know, the more marketable you are, the more money you're worth.
You know that. Like we've been talking about that.
Before pro wrestling, I was full-on ninja and full-on gambler, and I brought my, those are Ninja Mack's two biggest needs, like gambling and ninja stuff. So
ninja stuff. What constitutes ninja stuff?
So, you know, you got a lot of martial arts training, but it's not just, I wouldn't just say the training, it's the discipline of being able to learn something. Because growing up, you know, I spent a lot of time in the gym. I wasn't a ninja at first, but after school, I went to college for a semester. I realized, you know, I didn't want to go to college and waste time. So I ended up going to the circus, and because when I went to the circus, it really...
And we're going to talk about that more.
Well, yeah, we'll get back to that, but it gave me a very big opportunity to open up and see a different world. And then, I always loved ninja movies and the ninja shows, and I trained martial arts forever because I did taekwondo, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu growing up, and wrestling. But with each sport and each discipline, I feel like the ninja is a very general overall. It's not just like hiya, hiya.
Yeah.
Like I said, I discipline in wrestling, I discipline in jiu-jitsu, I discipline in taekwondo, I discipline in bodybuilding, I discipline in, people say gymnastics, but I wasn't a very great gymnast. I just do a lot of flips. But it's just, with the pro wrestling, it's very entertaining. So I would say I am 50% ninja and 50% pro gambler. And you can bet that. So I would go to the casinos and I would gamble as a living. And then my ninja stuff, it's not on my wrestling channel, but if you do look up what I used to do, we call it tricking. And you see a lot of that in the movies right now. There's like best example is the Tron movie that came out. The guys are doing like ninja kicks and ninja flips. So that sport's called tricking, and we haven't had a superstar or a big level athlete to really sponsor tricking to get it known as a sport. And that's one of my end goals with being ninja is I can bring that new sport of tricking.
Oh, I love that.
And tricking, by the way, just a very easy breakdown of tricking. It's breakdancing, some gymnastics flips with some ninja kicks, all put together in a battle style.
Yeah, but like your in-ring style as a viewer, it's not gymnastics. Because like when you watch, say, like Jack Cartwheel, you can very much tell it's the gymnastics background. Like, and it's cool, and I love them.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and hey, they're phenomenal gymnasts out there.
But like your stuff is not... When I watch you, I don't think gymnastics.
Oh, beautiful, thank you. I really don't, I don't want to be represented as a gymnast, but if I can, because there's some great gymnasts. There's some great like Simone Biles. I don't know if you know Simone Biles.
Yeah, I do, of course, yeah.
So I actually live in Houston. Simone Biles, I've met a couple times. She's only 30 minutes down the road. Shout out Simone. But like I said, when you go back and watch Ninja Mack, I want that fight style because I want to get ready for Noah. I want to do the ninja stuff. I don't want to just flippy. So you see the flip.
It's not just like flippish. Like
yeah, pretty kicks. Yeah. Different. I wanted to be unique. I wanted to make big bets. And then also, not only the ninja stuff and the discipline of training, I've always been very good at numbers. So like gambling, you know, they don't say illegal, but they don't like when you count cards. You don't sit there and count, but
like you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to. You can, but it's like wrestling. I don't go out there and I don't have a match or say, hey, let's let's do some cool shit. I gotta feel the crowd, because if I go out there and the crowd's really into ninja stuff and we fight and they like it, man, I want to fight more because that's what the crowd likes. But if the crowd likes some crazy lucha flying ninja stuff, I want to do some fast stuff, but I gotta hear that crowd. So I like my gambling. I feel the table and that deck when I make my bets, but like in the ring, I use that feeling in the ring to feel the people. And that's helped me I think that's helped me too, using the ninja background, using the gambling background to pull that into the pro wrestling ring. And pulling that all together has made the Ninja Mack the dealer character.
Yeah, and that kind of feeds into like the next question, because you've been talking about like the lucha stuff, and like I feel like the traditional wrestling fan, when we see a masked wrestler, we think lucha.
Of course, luchadors, lucha libre.
But what you do is not like, it's not lucha.
Well, not what I do for GCW is not lucha, because when I started wrestling, I started in Texas being right next to Mexico. We had so many luchadors coming in, and just with the great talent in Texas, all the luchadors that come in and out, I had a good chance to learn from great luchadors growing up. So yes, you see Ninja Mack, and I'm very colored, but when I first started coming back as Ninja Mack, I didn't want to disrespect the luchas and wear their mask without approval. But I would take the ninja mask off against a luchador. But when I would wrestle an American, I would keep it on almost like an intimidation for the Americans as a luchador. And I had that world of both, and it's kind of blended together where I've grown on the mask. Going back to marketing, the sales of mask is off the chart.
It's a character.
It's a character, and it's something that remembers. But, getting covered, you don't get your facials, and that's, I think to me, like facials is such a big part of pro wrestling.
It is,
So for me to have to take away my face to wear the mask, I gotta get very animated and bigger visuals.
With your gestures, with your whole
because
presence.
I can't show you my reactions. But
because like for luchadors, like we know that historically the masks were just because like kayfabe like was not a thing, and people believed that wrestling was like a real quote unquote.
Hey, it is real. What do you mean? We can believe, of course.
That's why the mask was to protect a person, because like if you're a rudo, the heel, it's like people are gonna hate you and people are gonna beat you up in the streets.
Very true, because when I went down to Mexico, and I fought Dragon Bane, and then I went down for AAA, and the crowds are great, and you're going out there, but going out there as an American, you're not the hometown hero like Dragon Bane is. Shout out Dragon Bane, by the way, we're getting a match coming up, don't you forget. But when I went out there, there's little 9 and 10-year-old girls and boys flicking me off, and it's not an American culture. Like they were not to kayfabe, and maybe they don't think it's real or not real, but man, when I say I had 10-year-old girls and boys flicking me off, throwing stuff at me, and that was on my entrance. That's like not even during the match. Because I was an American, I understand why luchadors like to keep the mask, because if you're really good at being a bad guy,
you're gonna get jumped. Like,
you're gonna get jumped.
Absolutely, you're gonna.
And you know what they told me? Don't mess with the guys when I was in Mexico that sit in the front. On this side, because those are some of the mob guys.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, hey, don't mess, just skip them, don't mess with them. Because if they saw your face and you did something stupid, they're gonna be coming looking for you. But you know what Ninja Mack did?
What did Ninja Mack do?
I go be picking those shoelaces.
As always, we know
big
that.
bitch. You watch out for
That's
those shoelaces.
Why I wear freaking Velcro.
Yeah, so she got smart. She got smart. I'm gonna get her one day slipping, but till then.
What does your mask mean to you? Like, why do you wear a mask? What's going on?
So going back to the Ninja Mack gambling before I became a wrestler. So like I said, I got in touch with a lot of luchas, and being the gringo from Texas, if you don't know what gringo is, that means white person.
It means an American.
American white guy.
White person, American.
No, American white person. Yeah, Gringo Loco, who is my tag partner tonight. The crazy white guy. But when I put the mask on, and if you notice, I wear black or red. I switch it up.
We definitely have noticed. Yes.
So, but if you ever go to a casino on the roulette tables or blackjack,
it's black or red.
Black or red.
Absolutely,
So people say, "Oh, Power Ranger." No, I related the gambling to the ninja, and I brought that to pro wrestling.
I was wondering whether you were open to talk about your circus background a little bit.
Yes, I worked for the circus. I did work for Cirque du Soleil. I graduated. I've been training forever with the ninja stuff. I go to college for a semester, and I'm starting the second semester. And I was very unmotivated my whole life.
feel that.
I had off-campus PE, so I left school early to go train in the wrestling and the gyms. So my whole life since like 8 years old, I was training 8 hours a day with like 4 hours of school. And then, graduate, and my first semester of college, I stopped training. And not like, it wasn't like training hard, but you go to college at 18 years old, you want to go drink, you want to go party for the first time. And then maybe people call it depressed, but I did that first semester and I really was questioning, like, is this really for me? Because I was doing those general classes. I wasn't like focused on college. And I really did feel like it was a waste of time for what I was doing, and as much like fighting and wrestling I did. In America, your second semester starts in January. February, the week before Valentine's Day, I quit school. I quit college. And not only, I didn't just quit without a plan, I actually went to circusoleil.com. If you ever go to NXT for my future inspiring wrestlers, all you gotta do is go to the bottom left page, type in recruitment, and you can apply to be at NXT and they'll get you an answer. Same thing with Cirque du Soleil. It's not, people think it's hard to get into NXT, which it is, and people think it's hard to get into Cirque du Soleil, but to do it,
You can always try.
but you can always apply.
You can just shoot an email.
Just shoot an email, apply, because all they're gonna do is look at your 2 pictures, the 2 videos you send them, and if you're not even willing to try, you're not gonna get anywhere in life. Life lesson for y'all fans. But I applied, they liked the stuff I did, they called me to come to Vegas.
amazing.
And you know what, like wrestling, they weren't gonna pay me to go to Vegas for the tryout. I paid the $150 at 19 years old to go try out. I paid the $250 ticket to Vegas
Are
at
you
the
willing
time.
to tell us how old you are right now?
Yeah, so Ninja Mack's 32. It has been a while, so
it's been a while.
It's been a while. But at 19, when I went off to the circus and I tried out, they didn't even take me the first time. And it was very clear when I was doing the crazy flips, I was on a way different level than everyone at the tryout. But they didn't take me because I didn't know how to dance.
Oh.
So I could do all the crazy flips, but they would say, you know what, you can do the craziest shit we've ever seen, but you can't dance across the stage. And that was a very humbling experience to me.
Wow.
But also I had to learn that I have to open up, and not saying I wouldn't dance, but like I wouldn't put myself out there at the tryout to where I was like, they gave you 30 seconds at the tryout and said, hey, free dance. And I was like, what do you mean free dance for 30 seconds? So I started doing some break dancing, but then, that's not dancing. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, just show us some ballet or some tap or some jazz. And I was like, no idea. So they did not take me my first tryout.
Wow.
And I ended up going home, I want to say, if it was probably the week right after Valentine's, because we were there for a week in Vegas. I didn't know what to do. I was working at a gym, and from February to May, I took some ballet lessons at my gym. I took some jazz, I took some tap dance, and I learned the very basics of dance. I went back and I tried out in June, 3.5 months later, and I did just enough. They say, you know what, let's give you a shot, get me a job. Sam Trigo Productions gave me my first opportunity with the circus. Like Cirque du Soleil is like WWE.
Yeah. Oh.
The big one, and everyone knows Cirque du Soleil, but SeaWorld has there's so many indie circuses like GCW or Ring of Honor that Sam Trigo Productions gave me my first chance, and my first job was to tour Mexico for 3 months. So we went down to Mexico, we toured Mexico for 3 months, came back, and they actually, hey man, you did really good. They flew me out to Cirque du Soleil in Montreal. I did the little training, and they made me do the Michael Jackson workshop. During the Michael Jackson workshop, some of the craziest stuff, I sat in a cannon holding a trapeze. And I'm not saying like a cannon that shoots the ball, but it was a visual of a cannon. And they launched me holding this trapeze at 40 miles an hour, holding this trapeze like this, swinging 80 feet in the air. Wow. And at 80 feet, they said, let go. And I just dropped.
Oh my God.
Big pause. Yeah, so you held the trapeze.
So if you guys think that the dives are crazy,
Hey, shit.
that's the crazy dive.
Y'all are gonna see some crazy stuff when I go to Noah and come back. And not saying I've been holding out, but y'all have not seen the big stuff yet. The best way I like to explain it is, I think the Phoenix 630 is such a pretty finish that I use so much. I have 5 more finishers. We'll keep that between us. And I haven't shown them yet.
Between us and all of you.
Yeah, oh yeah, but between us. But I haven't pulled them out yet. Only in my head, like gambling, I can't show y'all all the tricks till I get to the big show. So I want.
It has to be a moment.
It has to be a moment. It has to be the right timing. But like I said, I do 6 years of the circus on and off. Circus, I do some SeaWorld, I do some indie shows. 19 to 25, I'm in the circus. The last show I did was on a Friday. I was coming from Seattle, and there was a guy on tour with us. And when you're on tour, like the wrestling locker rooms, you bond. There's 25 of us, so you get real close with everyone. And some of us, we would just wrestle at the hotels, you know, kill time during the day, because we would do shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, so, you know, go adventure the cities. But we would wrestle, and because I grew up wrestling and I could do the flips now from the circus, there was a guy, Nick, on my last tour. And he said, dude, you should look into pro wrestling. You know how to wrestle and you know how to flip. And I was like WWF? He's like, it's WWE now, because I stopped following it. But I was like, yeah. I mean, I've always loved it. I watched it growing up. And he's like, hey, you know, go try out. We're in Seattle, and there's a good school up here. And actually, Nick Wayne, your father at the time, back then, he was recommending him and just that school area where you're from. But he also said in Houston with Booker T for reality wrestling, or you go to Florida for all the schools. And I looked at him and said, really, in Houston? I'm from Houston. What do you mean? He said, yeah, go check out Booker T. And I love Booker T. I watched him growing up. So I flew in that Friday from my Seattle tour, and I called Booker T's Reality of Wrestling in Houston, and they were having their first fantasy camp that Sunday. And what that means is they were just bringing all these new kids to come in, try out for Booker's school, which was a prep school to get to NXT, because he runs TV. I signed up Sunday. I never went back to the circus since then.
And with your circus background, like you've told me that you've been around the world, like you've traveled the world.
Many different countries. So a lot of South America, you know, we did Mexico, we went down to South America. I went to Venezuela, we went down South America, and then I went to Germany, and I traveled a lot of Europe.
How much of the wrestling outside of the US have you seen or experienced, and how has that influenced your presentation as Ninja right now?
Okay, so, you know, living in Texas, like I'm born in New York, but my parents moved down when I was young to Houston, Texas. And just in Texas alone, with the connection of Mexico, there's already so many luchas. And there's a channel called Telemundo.
Yeah, I've seen.
And that would actually watch, when I was little, I know I watched WWF, but I didn't watch Impact or Ring of Honor when they were popping up. I only watched WWF. I watched AAA because I was on Telemundo. And let alone, you know, you see the guys with the mask doing the crazy flips, and that's what intrigued me. And oh my God, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, like those guys, big names, like mega stars. And then I would watch Pro Wrestling Noah. And that was actually a big factor, because I got 3 offers from Japan recently, and I chose Pro Wrestling Noah only because I watched that growing up as a kid, because it came on like a real random hour, but because I would say I watched AAA, I watched Noah internationally, but those are my main focuses, and that's actually what I really watch now.
WWE is still, to this day, as much as you want to deny it,
I don't do
WWE. It's still the company.
It is the company. And you know, people, they rag on WWE, but they made $1 billion this year in revenue. And not only are they just America, they are worldwide.
Yes, they are. As a Russian, I can very much confirm that they are worldwide. Yeah.
And I know they say AEW's catching up. No,
it's gonna take some years.
No, it's gonna take decades. I love that there's more wrestling.
Yeah, like the more wrestling, the better. And like,
of course,
ultimately, what some people on the internet don't understand is that like the more competition there is, the better it is for every single.
Oh yeah, because you know what, they gotta step up, or they're gonna step up, and you have to.
But what I was gonna ask is that like WWE is notorious for their policy, especially recently since they rebranded NXT, and since we have the NXT 2.0, they're like, we only need like under 25 and over 6 foot.
WWE gets a bad rap on, we want people under 25. What I see WWE, and like I said, I'm very, I wouldn't say new to wrestling, but to bigger wrestling. I haven't been signed, I haven't been on TV. And I know they got we want everyone younger than 25. No, they want to create people themselves. They also, to their eyes, why get someone and have to reteach them from their bad habits?
It's just recently, like on the internet, Sasha Banks, we were talking about that, where it's like, she was like, I thought I knew how to wrestle. I came into WWE like I know how to wrestle, and then they were like, not WWE style. No, you don't.
Yeah, no, they have their very own style.
Is it even a good thing for wrestling that WWE wrestling is such a different type of wrestling?
Going back to Booker T reality wrestling,
Yeah.
he actually, and I love Booker, the greatest trainer I've ever had. He ran his reality wrestling like NXT. So when I first started, I learned TV WWE format, and that's all I knew. So like I learned Lucha after I learned TV. Seeing Ninja Mack this year, this is my first time experiencing indie wrestling, and it's been a culture shock to me. Because when I first came to GCW, and
When was that though?
the collective last year in Tampa. So I was back for 3 months. I met Dante. We had a match. We just, just like we've been, we had a good connection in the match, and I was like, you know what, man, I whooped your ass, but with local wrestling in Houston, you want to come down in January and run one-on-one with me? And we did a badass match in Loco in January. And in March, GCW called us because they watched that match. And that's when me and Dante got invited out to Game Changer for the collective in Tampa. Yeah. And then since then, this whole year happened. But like I said, I only knew TV wrestling from Booker at Reality Wrestling. So to come out and see what they were doing indie, I was like, whoa, this is a very big culture shock. So yeah, I was on the vice versa of most people. See a lot of spot fests on indie wrestling. Yeah. I learned TV. Like I only knew how to TV wrestle until I got to Game Changer.
Do you feel like it's helped you? Do you feel like
it is the biggest help, because TV, I won't say you want to dress the fans, but I am looking to the camera. So working with a lot of luchas, after my TV, I had a good TV presence, but I would say that's the one thing Lucha, to me, is so much better at, clear cut, is, you see the badass wrestling, you see the crazy spots, but luchadors, man, they connect with those fans. They pull them in, man, you get them in, punto!
Like even at Hammerstein.
Oh yeah, they're wild.
It was incredible.
And you see the crazy shit they do, but not only the crazy shit, they got people up. They got people
and
standing.
The crazy shit is different too, because there are different types of crazy shit.
Oh yeah, they're a different breed down in Mexico.
Do that. It's so intricate, and it's
smooth. It's so much smooth, powerful, and all those luchadors I've trained with. Hey man, Toxin, Dragon Bane, those guys. Mr. Iguana. If you don't know Mr. Iguana, huge megastar. Iguana man, I know I got you in Loco. We're gonna run it back, but Iguana, he's a megastar. Have you heard of Vikingo?
Yes.
Dude, Vikingo. I got to work him one time a little bit. That guy's phenomenal. Like I said, they got such a smooth style. They do train though. That's what they do for a living down there. In America, in these indies, everyone's trying to really grind, but everyone's got a job. Yeah. Then everyone comes and wrestles on weekend. Yeah. But those luchadors, they literally live luchador. They grow up luchador. They work as a luchador. They train as a luchador. And that's why they're so smooth and so good.
I feel like GCW has a very specific wrestling culture. And GCW has been on the rise obviously lately. And GCW is so special and wonderful and we all love it. But do you feel like with your very specific type of wrestling that you do, with the whole holistic type of things you've accumulated, do you feel like you really are a GCW wrestler? Do you feel like you fit in the GCW picture, or are you something completely different?
I'm different. I am Ninja Mack. I love GCW. I love every chance GCW get. Jimmy Lloyd. When I say Ninja Mack's story, and I'm on a good snowball right now, and I love my local group, Jaime. I wouldn't say I didn't study wrestling, but I really only watched AAA. I watched some Japan, I watched WWE, and I wasn't aware of the Northeast bookings. Yeah. I really do appreciate Jimmy for making that text. Hey, I'm Jimmy Lloyd. Yeah. We saw your video. We're going to give you a chance to come out to a scramble, and if you want to take it, man. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And at the time, I didn't have an Instagram or Twitter. I didn't do any social media before this. I was just training wrestling, and then I was at home being dad. Even when I came back those first 4 months with Loco, when I met Dante for the matches, I didn't do Instagram or Twitter. So I went, and they had to get in touch with me through other people.
And it is something that I wanted to ask you about, because you're one of the very few wrestlers who I feel approaches social media in a very smart way.
Okay, well, I'm glad, because I'm 6 months into social media.
And you're like utilizing Instagram and TikTok and like in a very smart way, I feel. Because I feel like in the modern world, in any industry, but wrestling specifically, the viral factor.
The marketing.
Matters a lot.
Of course.
And can you like give us a bit of a description of like what you're doing on social media and how do you feel it's important to what you're doing in wrestling?
Oh, for sure. So, giving back out that credit to GCW, Brett, Joey Janela. When I first met him at the Collective, and everyone said, "Oh, you do that Sasuke special, that flippy dive," that was on recommendation of Joey Janela. My first 10 seconds of meeting Joey, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Mac. Hey, I'm Joey. Hey, Ninja, can you try this?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever you want, Joe. You brought me in, I'll do it." I did it, and when I came back, and he said, "Hey, I know I told you to do this." 10,000 views in the first like 10, 15 minutes. I was like,
viral, like
hey,
this person right
big
here.
bets. But that's not possible without a Joey Janela, a Brett Lauderdale, or even Jimmy reaching out.
Yeah, without someone who like tells you like, hey, you could do this.
Yeah, and you know what? I at the time to do it, and it's a little crazy, but not only did I do that, Joey got on my phone and said, boom, boom, boom. Here's Twitter. And those first 10,000 videos, like that's the start of my Twitter. Like tagged me, tweeted me, and from that Collective date was the start of Ninja Mack.
And you
Twitter.
have like, as a gimmick, you have the viral potential.
Yeah, it's been
Because
moving.
people are like, oh, it's a freaking ninja flipping around the ring. Like it's watchable, it's
It is
clickable.
watchable. But that's the other thing is not only you see the crazy stuff in the ring, you expect that from a ninja, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you expect, and I always say ninja chops, ninja kicks, and ninja belly flops. And if you look at my offense, I do ninja kicks, I do ninja chops, and when I do my flips, I do belly flops. And maybe this comes back from my Cirque du Soleil experience and working with Booker T for TV. When I'm in the ring and I know we're doing this stuff, I'm looking at the fans and I'm always figuring out what's the best view for the fan to see the crazy stuff I'm doing.
I've been like in my like local scene for a while, and it's like the one thing that you hear as a critique for younger wrestlers a lot, because like people don't realize that you work in a 3D space.
Of course.
And there's a camera side, and there's
You got hard
fan
cam.
side, there's a bleacher side.
Of
Like
course.
people don't realize that you have to like manipulate the way that you work to work for a certain like 3D space.
Yeah, well, just
And
just like
it's a lot, like it's a lot, but it's important.
it's very important. Just like models and actors, they don't just sit there and take a random picture. They do that little turn. You get the best angle.
They know where the camera is. They know where the light is.
And you know what? I know we're in there for a fight, and I'm going out there. But you know what? I'm also going out there for the people that show up to our shows, and I'm gonna give them the best angle. And when I do shit over there, I'm gonna walk to the other side and make sure those other people got some crazy shit over there too. Because you know what? They're the people that pay our bills. I know we gotta fight these people, and I gotta come out with wins the best I can. But I am also there to entertain those people going around that are paying their money and their hard-won money for tickets. And I want to give them the time. Now, I do get ragged on. I get ragged on for picking these shoelaces a lot. Because, hey.
Like who would like?
But
who would dislike that? Like, I'm like, I think it's
not
just so,
not the
like,
fans,
cool.
the higher ups on these shows. Because when I'm picking the shoelaces, I take a little long to get back. But I would rather give the extra minute and get ragged on by the uppers because I interacted with those fans. Because you know what? They're never gonna forget.
It's an experience. Yeah,
They're
gonna
never gonna
remember
forget that I
Oh,
crawled
yeah.
over their shoes. I got their shoelaces because they weren't double knotted.
Like
so-
all the stories that you hear about Ninja Mack are
Hey,
like, oh, he picked up my shoelaces.
Oh,
Like,
hey,
that's
it's
what
getting out. Hey, it's working, big bets. But I do appreciate y'all, but I'd rather, you know what, if I'm getting my ass whooped and I'm done and I'm losing, man, I'll give you the experience, I'll get, you know what, big bet, you don't even got shoelaces.
I came prepared.
Hey, came prepared, I got work tonight.
And they're gonna tell other people about it.
Tell them, hey, you know
Do.
what, tell them, subscribe to Ninja Mack, subscribe to Zarna's channel. Let's get these numbers up, baby.
Hell yeah. One last thing that I want to ask you about is like you're going on your Japan tour very soon. Do you want to tell us a little bit of how that came along and how did that happen for you?
Of course, I don't mind at all. Like I said, Loco Wrestling, I'm actually wearing their hoodie right now. Loco Big Bet, Houston, Texas. Shout out to Jaime Martinez, Pedro Ortega, the guys that got me back to wrestling and training. When COVID happened, like I said, I was at home being a dad and working. And then COVID happened, we weren't working, so I went back to training and we started Loco Wrestling. I did that match with Dante. In March, I did the match with Dragon Bane, a very big Mexico star. And he worked with Pro Wrestling Noah right before COVID happened. And 30 minutes after I was done with the match with Dragon Bane, they saw clips from Wrestling with Unicorns. Wrestling with the Unicorns, hey, big shout out to y'all and Martin.
Viral.
Yeah, y'all are great.
Yeah.
But they called me in the locker room of Loco Wrestling 30 minutes after my match with Dragon Bane. Hey, we saw clips. This is our offer. Are you interested?
That's the power of freaking social media for you.
Hey, another reason why I should have been on social media, because I didn't have social media at that time, because I was in March. I didn't get social media till April with the collect. But because Wrestling with Unicorns posted that for me, I would probably have to say Wrestling with the Unicorns, thank you, because without that post, I would have never called. But, you know, Noah called, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a dream. I would love to go, let's go. And, you know, COVID got worse, so they shut down. But literally that next week is when I got the message from Jimmy for GCW. So I got Noah to call, and I got AAA to call right before GCW, but the borders were shut. So you know what? Let me ride out with GCW till they open. And you know what? I only grew because GCW fed me great opponents, put me in great spots, gave me every opportunity. Joey started my social media, and now that I've started it, I've grown. And going back to that ninja experience, I'm very disciplined. And you know, it's only I don't know my math, 6 to 8 months with social media. But as you see now, I'm not just easygoing. I am relentless, like in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am relentless on social media. I'm relentless on my training. I'm relentless in the ring. And that's that ninja background coming in. And I think that's going to play a big part for pro wrestling, Noah. Now, my question to you. I love asking questions to the interviewers.
Go ahead.
Where do ninjas come from?
Japan.
Japan. Yeah. Now, my other question. How many ninjas are in Noah right now?
I am not sure. I could not answer this question.
Me neither. I don't think there's any. But how is Pro Wrestling Noah gonna take? How are they gonna respond to Ninja Mack? Because I'm an American. I'm not Japanese.
I'm American.
But
and the whole like ninja thing is a very Japanese cultural historical thing too.
It's a historical thing, but I don't know because we are in 2022. I don't want to insult them. Hey, oh, you're a ninja. You're making fun of it. No, that's what I do. But I also are they gonna be insulted? Who knows until I get there. I don't want to. Actually, I might want to insult them. You never know. I might go heel for Noah.
Maybe.
Hey,
kamikaze.
you know, you watch out.
The red one.
Hey, big bets. but also going back, like I might go out there and do what I'm doing now for GCW, where I'm a fan favorite. But I might go out to Pro Wrestling Noah, and they might be insulted because it's a different culture. We're gonna see when we get out there.
You have to work with what you get.
You do gotta work. But like I said, it's just everything lined up. Yeah. You know, I came back as Ninja, and you know, Japan called me, and I'm like, man, Japan's calling me because I'm Ninja right now. So, Pro Wrestling Noah is going to be a very great experience, and I'm very excited for that.
Hell yeah, we're excited for you. All of us. We're all excited for you.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for everything.
And on this wonderful note, if you have something to plug, this is the time to do it.
Social
media, everything.
Well, you know, you can always go subscribe to Ninja Mack on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all your social media platforms. If you haven't done so, go subscribe to this young lady's channel. You know, that's how we make our money. That's how we grow. We want to be out there and not only just grow, but you know, the bigger our following, the more people we reach out to. And
the more people we get to deliver the miracle of wrestling to.
and that's what we're here for. I love wrestling because I'm a wrestler, but for someone that doesn't wrestle, man, she loves wrestling just as much as we do. And she is here every show, all the time. And honestly, you probably hear more than most of the wrestlers. Big commitments.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate you. We do appreciate you.
I appreciate you. All the links will be in the description down below.
Of course.
And in the meanwhile, give this video a like if you had a good time. Subscribe, tap the notification button, never miss an upload. And until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye. Bet that. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night.